Welcome back, everyone. We are here with Star Wars Collector Spotlight. I am very excited to announce here with me today is Jack Davis. He has followed me on my YouTube channel for a little while now. We've communicated a little bit. He won the contest way back, and we sent him a whole bunch of cool stuff. And he's been putting out stuff on his YouTube channel. If you like watching rips of Star Wars CCG stuff, he's putting out stuff there, so check his channel out. But we are here to dive into what we've been doing with everybody else, which is to get to know other Star Wars collectors in the space that maybe we don't really know that much about, and I can't wait to dive into it. Jack, welcome to the show.
Kyle, thank you so much for welcoming me to the bridge of your Star Destroyer. This is awesome.
So this is awesome. So we're gonna start off just with some of the top basics. So where do you hail from? Where are you at right now?
So I think I'm from the Karelia region or Coruscant, one of the two, Western Pennsylvania. Let's go, Pens. Yeah.
Okay. And you're primarily collecting Star Wars CCG or other stuff, non-Star Wars stuff? Where's your collection?
So, I mean, to be candid, because I know that there are some really devoted collectors out there. I really wouldn't call myself a collector, but I'm a returning Star Wars CCG, card enthusiast. Started back in 5th grade and recently got back into it. As far as, collections go, I'm one card away from completing a Cloud City set. And I have a complete Premier Black and White Border set.
Okay. What's the card you're missing out of Cloud City, out of curiosity?
I think This Is Even Better. It's a red card of all the cards. Yeah,
Well, somebody who's listening to this is going to be like, oh, I have that card sitting around. I'll happily trade you that.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I know I could just, like, there's so many great sellers out there. I'm sure I could just, pester somebody. But, like, for me, like, this is probably.
It's fun to hunt. It's fun.
I'm sorry?
It's fun to hunt. I get
it. Yeah, exactly. I love ripping the pack. So, like, I'll buy a pack and hopefully I'll get it. But, that's how I collect.
So I'm guessing when things faded off, was this also like around that 2000, 2001 time when the game kind of like fizzled away and priorities in life took over sort of thing? What jumped you back into this? Was this the COVID craze hold up in your house kind of thing?
So this was probably around like October 2022 or something. And I was just bored one night after work and I was just on YouTube. And I just like remembered, hey, I wonder what's going on with that Star Wars card game. So I just went on YouTube and I just Googled Star Wars CCG and all this stuff came up. And I started watching pack rips and I was like, man, that'd be fun to rip some packs again. So I went out like a couple weeks later and just started buying packs. And that led me to go back and see if any of my old cards were still there. And I got lucky, found half of what I remember I think me and my brother had. And that just kind of started it back up.
That's awesome. So that's really exciting. Yeah, I mean, the pack rip videos can be kind of addicting, and you can go from like one to the next. And I sometimes watch pack videos of things I don't even collect, just because the pack videos themselves can be exciting. So I totally get it. Are there any non-Star Wars things you collect? I know you're a little bit into sports stuff, right?
Yeah. So I played hockey, all throughout, elementary school, middle school, high school, and everything like that. The dream was, I'm going to play in the NHL or something like that. But, being 5'8" and at the time, like 120 pounds, that really wasn't in the cards. So, I collected, I should say, a lot of, Penguin hockey cards or, Penguins memorabilia and things like that.
Okay. So on a scale of like 1 to 10, how emotionally invested are you into what you have, like your collection now?
Star Wars CCG, I would probably say I'm about a 7. Like I said, I don't consider myself, really like that big of a collector because, my collection is not that impressive, especially compared to
we all got to start somewhere, man.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys, it's just, it's really impressive what they've managed to collect because it's not, I can imagine that there's a lot of time that goes into it. And so, I mean, it's like I've seen some, things online, and I'm just like, wow, like first I'm like, that's very impressive, and then I'm like, the composure you must have not to rip open that box of Death Star.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many different little side niches, right? Like you could do different languages, you could do autos, you could do sealed product, you could do the inserts, you could do um, any other number of things too. What do you have like kind of a, I mean, we know your short-term collecting goal, right, is to hunt for some of these missing cards you have, but do you have like a maybe not long term, but like what's your like 1, 2 year, 3 year like collecting goal at the moment?
Um, so I think that I would love to, dive into more some of the sets that I never got to buy when I was a kid. So, like, I have a lot of Cloud City, as I mentioned, because that was like the box. Like, I always wanted to pull that Boba Fett, and I never pulled a Boba Fett out of a box before, even when I was like kid
Right.
up until now and stuff. Um, so I would like to explore, like Endor and Death Star, and then the Reflections packs, at least for like Star Wars CCG right now. And then, afterwards, if I decide to get into, some more like, other cards and stuff like that, I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there. But like right now, Star Wars CCG is kind of like how I'm, dealing with the downtime that I have as, my industry unfortunately is like kind of chaotic and up in the air right now. And just, just try to,
Yeah.
learn about the game again.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, you seem like the perfect audience for the like repacks and bulk box mixed purchases and stuff because you can get some real bargains for those. Like they don't cost that much, but you can get a nice wide range mix of rares that cross different sets that, maybe is not going to grade a PSA 10, but if you're happy to have it for a set, they're certainly good enough for that. Or if you want to play with them, they're great for that. You get a lot of good variety on there. I mean, for somebody who has all the sets, right? Like it's like just kind of a novelty, but for someone in your position, that's like exciting again. I mean, you have these repacks now that are loaded with rares. You're never going to get that many out of a box, like you could get them all at once and they might be like $10, $15, $20. You can get 50 crazy good cards. So you seem like the perfect target audience for that, for anybody listening out there.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your videos and everything like that, and as when I should probably consider that option more and more if I'm starting to look for more of like the foils or to complete some sets in the future and stuff like that.
Definitely. People will definitely throw in extra. I've thrown in extra foils into like selling off bulk lots just because I'm like, I don't need like 5 of, the same set, right? It's like, might as well throw them in bulk lot. Oh, I got some extra foils. We'll spruce it up and throw them out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of people that have too many cards that don't really know how to get rid of them. But I know B. Fred, Richie Parsons, Eric for sure. I mean, there's other people that are selling bulk lots that you've never heard of. They just found it in their living room or they didn't know what to do with it. So, all right. Well, are you ready for these Star Wars Blitz questions?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So, first, what is your all-time favorite Star Wars movie and why?
Oh, all-time favorite Star Wars movie and why, and that has to be A New Hope. The reason why is because to me, that's like the purest form of Star Wars. They didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they knew what they were doing filmmaking wise, but they didn't know that the response that they were going to get from the audience. It was like that catching lightning in a bottle. It was just a bunch of, indie filmmakers and indie actors and everything like that going out there and just having fun making a sci-fi Western with some samurai elements to it. And, it was so fun to watch. It's just to me, and it's like purest form.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who is your favorite Jedi and what qualities stand out?
So this is going to be a real boring answer, but I mean, Luke is probably going to be, my favorite, although Qui-Gon Jinn is a very close second.
Okay. So what qualities like stand out specifically that, you're drawn to?
Well, the thing I like about Luke is, I think he's like a very relatable like character for a lot of young people, and that's why I think I related a lot to him when he was young, and why I think a lot of people do, because he's young, he's a little naive. You think about what Yoda said, he's a little angry, a little stubborn, and I think when we're young and still in really learning what life is, those are all things that we kind of can relate to in some ways. He has hope, he's a little fearless, but he's a little bit stupid at times, but
Yeah, you forget he's like, supposed to be like what, a teenager, right? Like
yeah,
just 21, 20, like right at a young age. Like we did a lot of stupid stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah.
All right, which lightsaber color would you choose for yourself and why?
Geez, I would probably go blue, just because I think that was one of the first lightsabers that I saw, and I just thought, oh, that's really cool. That's the good guy's color, and we really didn't see another color until Return of the Jedi. So I was like, okay, blue. So
fair enough. What is your favorite starship in the Star Wars universe, and what appeals to you about it?
Oh, the Millennium Falcon. Again, I'm giving you really boring standard answers and stuff like that, and I apologize. But I mean, I just thought, it was, and at first I didn't like the Falcon. I was like, why do they have the cockpit on the side of this ship? It just looked weird and everything like that. But then it's like, what does he say? She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. And that to me,
it's a freighter, right? It's meant to be like a boring.
It's not
like a truck or something, like not exciting.
Yeah, it's not an X-wing, it's not a TIE Interceptor or anything like that. It's not meant to go fast. And I mean, even though it is fast, and Han, he souped it up and everything like that. But I mean, it was just, looking back on the entire franchise and everything, it was fun. And I'm not a fan of the sequel trilogy, but I will say this: in Force Awakens, when they're running away from, I think it's the TIE fighters at the beginning, and they're like, oh, that piece of junk hasn't, ran in years, and then that ship blows up, and they're like, the junk will be fine. I thought that was one of the good moments. And then another good moment involving the Falcon was in The Last Jedi, when they come in at the very end, and I think it's Finn. He's like, yeah, they hate that ship, and it's just it's just that symbol where like the bad guys are like, oh, we have to deal with that.
Of it, precedes it almost.
Yeah.
If you could have any force power, which one would you choose, and how would you use it?
Sense. I like to think we all have like intuition or that gut feeling. And I just wish that mine was a lot stronger, especially in this day and age, just to, make sure I'm never walking into any trouble.
Yeah, in my mind, sense is almost like either like a gut feeling or like your first take, but like on a stronger level.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that would be pretty good. You'd probably get a good sense of other people too. Which Star Wars planet would you most like to visit, and what draws you to that location?
So it would either be Corellia or Ord Mantell. Corellia, because I think that's kind of where all the the
Star Destroyers are built, right? Let's see the factories.
I'm sorry?
Isn't that where all the Star Destroyers were built?
I'm, what?
Them, right?
To be candid, I'm actually not sure. I just know that's where Han was born. So, I think I'd love to see his home world. We've seen enough of. I'm not knocking Tatooine here, but I think we've been living in Tatooine for a long time. So if we were living in Corellia, I'm sure I'd want to see Tatooine. But and then maybe Ord Mantell, because I hear that's where all the bounty hunters hang out, and
Okay, that's kind of cool.
I'm a bounty hunter dude, and so
I like that. So who's your favorite Star Wars villain? What makes them so compelling?
Again, I'm going to give you a really boring standard answer, but it's Vader. I think if I'm ever lucky enough to have a son, I will definitely show him the story of Anakin Skywalker to hopefully teach him, this is what happens when you let, anger, fear, and aggression run your life and everything like that. I think it's a great learning experience. But I love Vader because, he's just one of those, he represents, just extreme power in some ways, and it's just commanding, and unease. You know, you just see it when he walks along the bridge of his Star Destroyer, and you see everyone just like look down when he looks at him and everything. You know, it's just impressive. You know, close second would be Thrawn, obviously, because his intelligence is just, you know, impeccable. And then,
I really look forward to seeing him in live action. That should be very interesting. I think that character is going to go to the next level. Hopefully they do him justice, because I don't think Rebels quite brought out like his brilliance as they did in the book, but you know.
You know what? I'm with you 100%. And then, you know, to go along with the show, I'm excited to see what, you know, the late great Ray Stevens is going to do with Baylan.
Yes.
I think, you know, it's really unfortunate that we're not going to get to see more of him. And I just have this gut feeling that he is going to be the character that steals the show.
Well, hopefully they resolve that character's storyline enough so that we don't feel like we were like, oh, disappointed. Like, hopefully he goes out in a good way.
Yeah.
What droid from the Star Wars saga do you find the most endearing, and why?
You know, for a long time it was R2, because I mean, it's R2. He's so cool. But when I started watching Rebels, I just was like, Chopper is the man. He takes nothing from nobody.
He is funny. He is a funny random little droid.
Yeah.
So cold too. So reckless, so silly.
Yeah.
What is your favorite lightsaber duel in the entire Star Wars franchise, and what makes it special?
So again, a really boring standard answer, but that's the duel between Luke and Vader in Return of the Jedi. You know, it was just such a powerful scene. It's still just a powerful scene. You know, I went to go see Return of the Jedi again in theaters. I think it was like maybe a month ago now. And just seeing it on the big screen, it was only the second time I've ever seen it on the big screen. And it's just so incredible. The choreography was incredible. And the performances from, you know, Mark Hamill. And I don't know if David Prowse did any of the work in the suit, because I heard they hired a professional fencer for the dueling scenes. I could be very wrong about that, but it was just
it stands up. I mean, it stands up today.
Yeah,
which says a lot, because there's plenty of poor choreographed fight scenes, you know, especially in older films. You're like, give me a break.
Yeah.
I will say, on a side note, recording like fight scenes, period, like from a production, is really, really difficult to do, to pull off like convincingly.
You're 100% right.
It's super difficult. You definitely have to have specialists in there, but even still, it's got to look real, right? So yeah, totally sidebarred there. But
no, that's the fun stuff, you know.
If you were to join either the Rebel Alliance or Galactic Empire, which side would you choose and why?
Rebel Alliance. I'm always going to fight on the side of the underdog. I believe that you know, great things can come from every single person, the smallest person all the way down to, or the smallest person all the way up to the biggest person. So I'm all Rebel.
Fair enough. So who's your favorite non-human character in Star Wars, and what makes them resonate with you?
Oh, favorite non-human character. This was, you know, again, probably another really boring, you know, answer, but Yoda. You know, I just the first time we meet him, I remember the first time I saw Empire Strikes Back, and I thought, who's this Yoda? Is he like a hermit like Obi-Wan? You know, I was thinking like it's going to be this giant strapping warrior and stuff like that, and we see this little green thing that, you know, is just so intelligent and so brave and so centered and filled with all those, you know, light side vibes.
Okay. Yeah, I dig it. So what is your favorite line or quote from the Star Wars films, and why does it resonate with you? And I'll take, you know, maybe a tight scene if something doesn't specifically stand out.
So this is the most common thing you're ever going to hear with Star Wars. And the reason why I like this is because you're wishing, you know, good things to people, but it's, you know, may the force be with you. I always want, you know, good things for people, and, you know, just to say, hey, may the force be with you. That means good things come to you, peace is in your path, and all that stuff. So
nice. I do like saying that. It does feel very genuine. If you could have a mentor from the Star Wars universe, who would you choose, and what wisdom would you seek from them?
Master Qui-Gon Jinn, and I would just seek the wisdom to know the difference. The thing I like about Qui-Gon is that he pushed back against the Jedi Council. So he didn't always just go with what he was being told. He knew that his path wasn't always the path of everyone. He knew that, not everyone's path is the same. So to, have a master like that who knew when to push back against, Master Yoda and Master Windu and all the members of the Jedi Council was just, really bold. And I respect that.
Yeah, he was almost ahead of his time, right? Like he could see through that, like, hey, I think we've really turn this into some sort of military or club or something, and less about the Force, So
well said. Well said.
What is your favorite Star Wars spin-off or standalone film from the Disney era, and why?
So again, another probably really boring answer, but Mandalorian. I remember watching.
That's not boring.
Yeah, no. I mean, season 3 was kind of, I had some questions about season 3, but season 1 was just incredible. I remember watching that, pilot and just seeing this incredible bounty hunter, and then we got IG-11, and then obviously we got Grogu and everything like that. But it was just that felt like a return to the Star Wars that I think you and all of us were kind of hoping for. And then season 2 came in, and they just brought another level to it. And then we got something that no one saw coming in the final episode with the return of Luke Skywalker. And I don't even need to say anything else other than that. Everybody,
it was a jaw-dropping, holy crap moment. It was pretty epic. I mean, it's fair to say that Mandalorian season 3 was definitely thrown off the rails by the fact that that other show they canceled with Gina Carano and stuff. Yeah. So I thought they kind of had to go back to the drawing board with it. I think they may have ran off with Bo-Katan just a little bit too long, but maybe that was to give Pedro Pascal a break or something. I don't know.
I think I think the Force is with you.
But they left it in the right note by saying we're gonna basically put the slate clean. So whatever season 4 is, they can do with what they want. We could go back to the Grogu Mando adventures that we all really enjoy, getting back to the core of it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's going to be different in a good way.
Yeah. Which Star Wars species or alien race do you find the most fascinating, and why?
Again, I got to go back to Master Yoda species, and that's because we don't know really anything about him. I mean, we know they have an incredibly long lifespan, and that they are born with that spark of the Force in their soul. So, why is this particular species so adept to feeling the Force? Is there just something about them where it literally flows through their veins? I mean, are they born with an incredibly high butchering the midichlorian count? I think that, and I don't want to know anything more about them because
I think I agree with you there. I think if they're gonna tell us something, maybe they could tell us something in that it just raises more questions as to their origin or anything about them. So then we're still left with nothing. So that's fine, but
it makes you come back for more.
Yeah, we keep coming back to be where are we going with this?
Yeah.
What is your favorite lightsaber design or hilt style, and what attracts you to that particular design?
So the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker saber, I watched a couple of the deleted scenes where he's actually building it and everything like that, and that was the first time I ever saw a lightsaber being built and everything, and I just thought that's really, really cool looking. And Anakin's saber was really nice. It's got a great card in the game and everything, but Jedi, Luke's saber for me.
Okay. If you were hired to act in the next Star Wars movie or show, what would you want your character to be like?
Oh boy. You might not want to have asked me this question because I feel like I could talk for the next 25 minutes on it. So I'm going to try and just stick straight to the point.
Well, you put some thought into this already. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No, like I said, I wanted to go back and watch a couple of your episodes because it doesn't matter to me if you have 1 million subscribers or 10 subscribers. You treat everybody the same. Respect the people that are even willing to talk to you in some ways. But to answer your question, if I was ever hired, I obviously would love to be a Jedi, but you just can't come in and be a Jedi. So I feel like I would start as a Padawan, some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But on the off chance, John and Dave or Robert is watching this video, I'm just going to pitch something here. Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett season 2. Boba Fett. I'm thinking he's like, the Rocky Balboa character. He's getting a little old and everything like that, and he's off and on some adventure, and in comes some young, cocky, arrogant man who steals some Mandalorian armor and paints it up and to look like Boba Fett, and he starts running around Tatooine, bringing a bad name to his to Boba Fett's name, and then the man comes back and he sees this little arrogant Mandalorian wannabe, and they have a battle. They start duking it out, and the young Mandalorian starts looks like he's gonna win, but then just like how in Rocky Balboa, that grit, that pure strength just comes out of the veteran and then just beats the living piss out of this Mandalorian that we all know is Jodo Cast. So I would love to play Jodo Cast.
Nice. That would be cool.
John,
I'm thinking about it. That's probably the best answer for that question I've heard yet.
Well, it's a great question. All these questions are great. Like this has been a really fun show. I enjoy watching all your stuff. So
this is awesome. Okay, so who's your favorite bounty hunter in the Star Wars galaxy, and what makes them stand out?
Boba Fett, he's just, when we first see him, he's real mysterious. He's a man of few words. And, like he says in episode 6 of season 2, Mandalorian, he's just a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy. And, I think when you keep things simple in life, you're not hopefully going to run into any trouble. So
has your opinion changed because of the Book of Boba Fett show? For the better, worse, or indifferent?
I still think of Boba Fett in the same light. If I had, my choice, I would have made him more a lot like episode 6 in season 2. I think that's the Boba Fett, a lot of us were hoping to see, and we did see glimpses of that. When he's running down that speeder bike gang in Slave One, that to me was like prime Boba Fett right there. And then, obviously in the season finale, seeing Boba ride the Rancor, I thought that was really impressive. But yeah, I think that, I have to sometimes watch what I say here, but I think with what, the creators are dealing with right now at Disney, I think there's a lot of, influences and a lot of people that they have to appease. So, I'm not going to knock anyone's art, is it my favorite? Episode 6 is my favorite interpretation of him, but, my hat is off to all those hardworking artists, because there's a lot of people, who probably don't get the recognition that they deserve and stuff like that. So,
yeah, let's just say I like being on the side, not of how the sausage is made. I just want the end product. I think that would be a big burden to take on.
Well, you kind of sometimes make the sausage too, because your videos, like, they're a higher quality with the editing that you put into it and the time that you put into it. And, I think that, hey, why wouldn't Disney call you up someday? You never know. It happens to the CGI.
This is about me. We could go down that rabbit hole for sure. But let's focus on you, because this is your moment, your show. So what Star Wars moment has the most emotional impact on you, and why?
Actually, in my gut, I'm saying, the end of Mandalorian season 2, just because, we never saw that coming, and it was just, I don't know what to say about it, because I think everybody felt that. I remember waking up the next day and the whole world was talking about the return of Luke Skywalker. I mean, it was on
Oh yeah.
every talk show. It was trending. Videos were popping up all over the internet. I mean,
So did that give you the chills? Did that like make the hair stand up on your edge of your arm when you're just like, no, 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 yes, yes, yes? This is just like, oh,
exactly, exactly. And it was so funny too
we
because
get it. This is what people wanted. We don't want our heroes to turn in curmudgeon hermits and then just reject everything you know them to be. We want them to have their moments.
and
We
like
want to see them in their peak glory. That did it. That is why that moment stuck. Because all that other crap before with the sequel trilogy, that's why everyone's like, Luke Skywalker throwing the lightsaber. Meh. It's like, what is this? We don't want to see these hermits. Han Solo, like, I don't want to know, man. It's like just some dad like out in the universe rejecting his kids. It's like, no, stop it. That's not what we want to see. And this is why like the writing was more deliberate. So I could go down a whole nother rabbit hole with this, but that is why, in my mind, why that moment really, versus the sequels where we felt kind of betrayed.
Yeah, no, you're nailing it. You're nailing it.
Who is your favorite Rebel Alliance member, and what inspires you about their dedication to the cause?
Oh, geez. I mean, Rebel Alliance member, I'm gonna have to go with Princess Leia. She is one of the original bad and I apologize for swearing, but like badass girls that we've all seen and known have always existed. From the second we meet her, she's out there fighting regardless of whether or not she's going to win or lose or, have to sacrifice her life and everything like that. And we see that character progress all the way through, even the sequels. But she's incredible in A New Hope. In Empire Strikes Back, we see her, just doing everything she possibly can to save her fellow pilots, her fellow commanders. She's doing everything she can. And Carrie Fisher gave a great performance. You can't knock her for that. And I mean, she's the Rebel Alliance to me.
Yeah, icon.
Yeah,
you can say about it, just straight up icon.
Yeah.
What Star Wars species or alien race would you want as your loyal companion, and why?
Oh, geez. All right. So I'm like 5'8", put on a lot of weight since high school. So I'm about like $160 right now. Get thrown around a lot. So it would be nice to look over my shoulder and seeing a Wookiee behind me. And if, they were too busy, playing on the holo table, I would take an Ardanian because they seem like they'd be fun to party with.
All right. What is your most prized Star Wars collectible or item right now?
I'll show you right here. I was trying to get ready. I don't know if it's the glare, but this is my
Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith card.
So, yeah, this is I pulled this when I was a kid. And the funny story is that I'm sitting there in the card shop and like there's a couple guys around and I'd like bought like a pack already, a special edition. And I pulled, like a red card or something like that. And I was like, hey, I want one more pack. And I looked around and I was like, this is it. This is going to be the pack that has Darth Vader in it. And everyone's like laughing. And I just reach down in there, just like fishing around. And I pull it up and I open it. And me not thinking, anything. So I do the whole thing. And then I pull it up and I'm like, no effing way. And everyone around me is like, whoa, how did you do that? And I was like, I used the Force, man.
That's awesome moment. So it's a sentimental nostalgia card. That's fantastic story. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I put it in like one of those like super, adorable cases. So this is like, pack fresh. Eventually, because like all the rips that I made, I know I was saying like in the videos that I'm never going to get them graded, but I think some of the stuff that I pulled, from the packs and maybe even this, like, where's the, I want to show you. So I pulled a Commander Luke, and this was like the first Commander Luke that
first card too, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first Luke I have ever pulled in a pack. So like, I mean, Premier Luke all the way up to, Death Star. This is the first one I ever pulled myself. And like me being OCD, if I like pull it from a pack, that's like special to me. So yeah. I'm like, I got to hold on to this. But so this I'll probably, and I got to talk to you about, the grading process.
You should custom slab it because it's going into your personal collection and you're not going to sell it. So you might as well make it nice, That could be really nice. So
I would love to.
That Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith would look sick.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to next. Because then I know you just, congratulations on your hit. That was huge.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not used to getting a hit. I'm used to getting garbage. It was very unusual.
Dude, I was doing this too, man, for you. When I saw that hit, I was like, yes, he got it.
Yeah,
he got it.
I know. That's crazy. So that's great. You have those as your nostalgia cards. I get that. I think I saved some of my like nostalgic hits. I never pulled a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Like I never pulled that. I didn't even know that card existed until like I got into it much later. So I hear you.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll have to chat more about the grading process and what I should do and how I should go about it. Because I know that you, that's kind of like a niche that you kind of mess around with and everything like that. So I'd love to pick your brain sometime about that.
Yeah, if you type in Star Wars graded cards, like a lot of my stuff comes up, which tells me that there's not a lot of other people putting that content out, which I was kind of surprised. I thought maybe more people would be doing it. But, maybe it just has time to grow.
Yeah.
But plenty of people ask me about it offline, like not in the chats. They DM me about it all the time. So I'm like, yeah, if you need me to submit cards for you, which I do for a lot of people. But yeah, we can talk about it after.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If you could have any one collectible item ever for Star Wars, what would it be?
It would be a Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker saber hilts or the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett Mandalorian suit.
Ooh, wow. I bet you those would be like super pricey if they ever came into market. I'm sure they're in a nice collectible museum right now.
I would just cry because I would just see all these zeros and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that would be quite the item.
Yeah. God.
So, do you have any regrets from your collecting journey or anything, related to collecting that you wish you had done differently?
So like now, obviously, I wish I kind of stuck with the game, especially to see where it's gotten to now, because I just feel like I'm so far behind, and it's just so impressive how the players committee have just like took this game and just kept it going, and not only kept it going, but growing and thriving. And I just started playing on GAMP actually, and it's just an incredible experience. So I guess I wish I would have kept going with the game, but I've been, purchasing, sealed product here, and I saw very recently a box of Cloud City go for like $200 less than what it normally goes for. And I was just like, buy it. And then the other side of me was like, no, you have rent. Rent is due in a week. And I'm like, this box of Cloud City went for $200 less than what it normally goes for. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I get that way anytime I see like sealed product go. Like if I see a reflection.
I know the feeling. I've watched stuff slip away. I'm like, oh, this was so cheap.
Yes.
But, at the end of the day, like if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be buying it anyways. Like you can't be upset about it. There'll be other days.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because as soon as I paid rent and everything like that, and I just did a couple like side jobs, I saw another thing pop up. I actually have it right here. I haven't opened it yet. I'm probably going to do it on a video, and I can maybe even open it up on the channel, the stream, if you want me to.
No, make a video about it.
Yeah. But no, I saw something, and it's an ultra rare that I never thought I was going to own, and I saw it, and someone made me an offer, and I was like, "Yep, I'm not passing it up. I'm not regretting this one." So this was something that I actually never thought I was going to own because I mean the price is just
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes they're like, can I stretch this just to buy it because I'm not going to be able to get it at this price before? Those are like the worst decisions. You're like, I really should be doing this.
Yeah, it's like, all right, can I eat rice and beans for the next 3 weeks just so I can afford?
Well, for the record, nobody here wants you to go broke buying Star Wars cards. Homeless with a great Star Wars collection really doesn't do you much good.
Oh yeah, noted.
So, as we wrap this up, is there anything you want other collectors know? I mean, definitely share your handles, of course, so other people can follow. I know if you type in Star Wars CCG, your stuff comes up. It's kind of like whenever you post stuff, but what is it that you want other collectors to know? What is it that you are looking for? What is it that anybody can help you with your collection, and what you could help with them and their collection?
Well, it's funny because I have a ton of Cloud City, and I thought about how they have the Death Star starter decks and the special edition starter decks. I was gonna make my own Cloud City starter decks, and then just kind of start giving them away, like how you do some great giveaways on the channel and stuff like that. And I was gonna put one main character in each of light side and dark side. So I still might do that. I think I have enough to do at least 2 decks from each side right now, so maybe like 2 giveaways and stuff like that. The only other things that I really would say is that I'm always out there looking for sealed product, and if it's like within my reach, I'm definitely gonna pick it up. That, and I just if you're making Star Wars CCG content, like you and some of the other great YouTubers and whatnot, just thank you for the content, because it's a nice little thing to just click on a video and watch it for 3 minutes and just kind of get that we'll just call it
that hit, that like
that secondary high, whatever it's called, just seeing people pull some pretty big hits and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not something we'll be able to do forever, sadly. But for the time being, I guess we can pull off a little bit. I was lucky enough to get some good buys on large booster packs. I like buying packs because if I get a box, I'm not going to want to open it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to want to keep it as a box. But if somebody are selling loose packs, I mean, yes, people will have arguments that, oh, they're all mapped out and crap, and that's possible. But I feel less guilty ripping like loose packs than I do a box.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, this is limited stuff, right? I mean, where are we going to be in 20 years? Somebody's going to have boxes, right? Like some people will still have that stuff, but it'll be less available because, we're still seeing new videos of people getting, ripping stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if that's the future. Maybe it'll be more on, with GEMP, you talked about, like more people are playing online on GEMP. So is the need for physical cards to play there anymore? And, arguably a lot of people would say no, but there's always the collector base that would want the printout versions of the virtual cards and, or maybe play with them, kitchen table stuff. But now you have like dream cards and, you could basically play however you want in whatever variety. There's so many different iterations out there. So
yeah, it's so cool that we have an online version and that we still have access to physical copies. I know that there was an in-person meetup here in Pittsburgh maybe about a month ago, and I was like so keen on going, even just to spectating.
Oh yeah, you should definitely go if you can.
Oh, I totally was, but I ended up having to film that day, and it was on a Saturday, and I was just like, I mean, whenever I get a chance to film or something, I got to take it because you just like, that's
right. I get it.
That kind of stuff. But no, like, so like I'm still buying and I'm still building decks because, I still play with my brother on occasions, which is like, why I started playing again in the first place and, digging them out of the closet and making sure that, we can still remember how to play. But, eventually I do want to get back into like in-person playing. I'm not good. I swear, like I'm a horrible player. It's going to take years to get on some of the levels, but having physical copies and then obviously GEMP is great. I am a little nervous about GEMP because like I said, I'm not good, and you go in there and then you just get your butt handed to you in like 2 turns. You're just like, well, that was fun. Now I feel discouraged and I'm not going to log back in like 3 weeks.
Well, you take your licks. Everybody has to do that, and then eventually you'll catch with other people and start being able to play all right. You figure it out. Yeah. Some of the guys have been doing this for a long time. It's not really fair. They like memorized all the, game text without even seeing the cards. It's like, all right, well, they've seen all these weird combinations. How could you? I mean, the game is so big, right? Like it's kind of an intimidating game to get into, to be perfectly honest. And I think that's what makes it so few and far between of new people that jump in. So for those who are jumping in, you know, like, hey, we need to cradle that, like take care of that. But yeah, you're gonna take your licks with anything else.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny. I was so my girlfriend's like, what is all this stuff that just suddenly appeared, here? And I'm like, oh, it's a card game. And she's like, well, will you teach me? I was like, all right, yeah. So like, we've played a couple games now, and she's just like, this game is so involved. And I was like, yeah, but it's like fun, once you get to learn it and everything like that. And she's like, it's almost like, chess and everything. I was like, yeah, it is kind of like chess because there's a lot of strategy. You have to know your pieces. You got to know what you can do with them. And
there's an exception to everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on with this. Please share like the handles and all that stuff. If you guys haven't heard or seen Jack's videos, if you can type in Star Wars CCG, you will find his videos on YouTube. I hope to see more of your content coming out. I'm not sure what you have in the pipeline, but I know you're dabbling in it a little bit. Do you have anything you have coming out in the or long term that you want to do with your channel?
It's all just kind of like experimenting at this point because I have like some other content there that's just for fun, like whenever I'm just like killing time at home or something like that. But I mean, the packs, it all depends on, what I have, what I'm willing to break. Like, I think I got like, maybe I got 3 packs of Premier, some Cloud City, some Special Edition, a couple Reflections, and then a Reflections 2, which I'm probably not going to rip for a while. But anyways, no, thank you very much for having me aboard your Star Destroyer, man. I love your content, and I think it's you get some really funny content too, which is fantastic. But I had a lot of fun, and really, man, just thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being on. This has been awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you all for listening. See you on the next one.